What's going on, family? Listen, I have a special guest today. I'm really excited to welcome a father, a friend, a big brother, and his son was on this podcast earlier in the season. I want to welcome the Stacey Harvin.
What's up, brother?
Brother, welcome
Man, I'm glad to be here, man.
to the speakeasy.
This is awesome, man. I love this setup, man. Love your crew. Everything is great, man.
Thank you. I
God
really
bless you.
appreciate it, man. This is really an honor to have the opportunity to talk to a father, to someone who has been through hell, back, been it and living in on the other side of it.
Yeah.
As a father who I didn't get the opportunity to have a dad growing up. My dad was deported to Jamaica when I was 2 years old. He was in jail from the time I was 2 months.
Wow.
I finally spoke to my dad for the first time in like 16 years last November. And he was sharing with me he had a court date on the day I was born, and he skipped the court date so he could be there for my birth. And he got in trouble for it, but after that, a couple months, he went to jail, got deported 2 years later. And so I didn't have that opportunity. But one of the things I've learned in growing is, having different father figures in my life, and even getting to know your son. And hearing his story and how much you guys have fought and how much you guys have, fought for him and to provide for him. It's been really powerful and encouraging in this season as a father, to know about dads who just showed up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's very important. My background is pretty cool. Growing up in the 70s, the aftermath of civil rights.
Oh, wow.
It was a time for us to sit back and eat some grapes, because, we don't have to march and fight
So we thought,
as
right?
much.
Yeah,
We didn't
right.
know it was shifting to the paperwork. That's how they was going to get us. But anyway, I grew up in a, average middle-class family, thank God, dual-parent household, both college educated, both in the church.
Wow.
So I was, on paper, set up to succeed. And my dad was a teacher and a coach. So it was young people always in his life that he was influencing. And he was a preacher. So he always was ministering to people and mentoring people. And with me and my siblings in the house, my mother passed away when I was 13. And then 5 years later, my dad remarried, and he stayed married to my stepmom for like 30 years. Before my biological mom passed away, they were married for 20 years. So my dad knew how to stay married. He knew how to carry a family. But my dad was present, and for all intents and purposes, I had no excuses. He sent me to a private school in Raleigh, North Carolina, St. Augustine's University. And unbeknownst to me, when you get older, you have those conversations with your dad. My dad was flat broke when he sent me to college.
Wow.
Had no idea how he was going to do it. But 4 years later, got my degree and started trudging in the world, per se. But one of the things that I learned that when I got out of college, my dad told me, I think right around 12, 13 years old, he says, never stop learning, son, because you're going to need that wisdom one day. And of course, the average teen, that's in 1 year, one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever. And those years go by real fast.
Yeah.
So here I am, an African-American, college-educated black man ready to take on the world, dumb as hell. I didn't know nothing, man. I didn't apply nothing. I just played the game. Study a little bit, take tests, pass the test, do it for 4 years, you're out. You got a degree. Yeah, but who do you know? who's in your network? Did you do any internships? Did you, make friends? Did you aspire to meet people who are in life where you wanted to be? And I was a communications major, so I'm right at home, okay? But I didn't do that, and so I was a guy with a piece of paper, but I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And my story is kind of like a prodigal son type story. I was set up to succeed, but I dropped the ball.
Yeah.
So now, instead of getting a good, what they call necktie job, good salary job, now I'm stuck working $8 an hour, $9 an hour, $10 an hour jobs because I had no network. Okay. I didn't apply myself when I had the opportunity. And now I'm out in the world trying to swim when I didn't take swimming lessons. So,
And you thought college was going to be your swimming lesson.
oh man, I was fed the whole program, because African Americans, our mainstay was either you have faith in God and or you get a college degree. That was what was preached to us. That was our ticket to get out of the situation. You got to have education, And so that was what bred to us. It was never bred to us, hey, learn how to have your own business. Learn how to self-sustain, okay? We was taught how to ask for fish, okay? And so here I am. I'm out of college, and I don't even know how to ask for fish.
Wow.
So now, I'm surviving just like most college students, trying to get by. My first job out of college was working at an arcade, giving quarters to little boys.
Wow.
And, you want to call humbling? I'm college educated, and this kid wants me to fix a Pac-Man machine. I'm like,
right.
What am I doing?
Wow.
So that started like a whole foxhole, if you will, of me trying to catch up. So I'm trying to get this job here. I thought I was going to be in management at the old retail store called Kmart at the time. Kmart was still
throwback. I think there might be one Kmart left somewhere in Utah, but
yeah,
I think Kmart's are gone.
They replaced the K with the wall.
Yeah.
So
right.
So Walmart was just eating up everybody, and
Yeah.
Kmart was hanging in there. And I was supposed to go to a management training program in South Carolina. I didn't want to go because at that time I was bit by the entrepreneurial bug. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna just build my business, and I'm gonna save my family from whatever. And didn't have no network, didn't have no money to invest.
Right.
I just had the pipe dream. Okay, and so there again, was I going to pay my light bill or was I going to invest in my business? Well, I got to see. So the business got to be on the back burner.
It's so interesting because we're talking about the way us as Black people specifically are fed these concepts without the details.
Yeah.
Fed all these concepts without all the underlying information. Yes, get a college degree. And a college degree is helpful if you understand networking, if you understand how to show up in this space, how to do an interview, how to get your resume right, how to how to network, right?
Yeah.
And how to actually do the job,
Absolutely.
right? And of course, there's the entrepreneurial side as well. Yes, we need to be entrepreneurs. We need to be starting our own businesses. We need to have our own.
Yeah.
But do you know how to be an employee?
Right.
Do you know how to start a business? Do you know how to put together a business plan? Are you good with finances?
Right.
Right? And that, it even starts there,
Yeah.
right? Because you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't know how to handle your finances, you're going to end up in a hole.
Yeah.
And so there's
Absolutely.
all these concepts. And I think, in previous generations, they meant well.
Yeah.
Church is amazing. It should be foundational. Your relationship with the Lord should be foundational.
Right.
You should get a college degree. But your relationship with the Lord, your faith, without understanding how to work faith, is dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Faith without works is dead.
Faith without works is dead, and faith without knowledge is fleeting.
Whew.
And so you have to ask God for wisdom anyway. So it goes back to my dad saying, never stop learning. So after my high school, which I was senior class president. Okay.
Got the goods.
Right. Got the goods. Captain of the football team, all the kind of stuff.
That man.
Go to college, and now I'm back to nobody.
Oof.
Then I build myself up to another somebody, president of the fraternity, vice president of the student council. So I
Yeah.
built myself back up. I still wasn't networking. I still wasn't taking advantage of my friends and peers and mentors. So again, my dad said, never stop learning. So I got a piece of paper, but I didn't keep seeking wisdom.
Oof.
And one of the things I learned is that you can seek knowledge, but your knowledge has to be converted into wisdom. And I tell people all the time, wisdom is gained by age. Age is an acronym for activity gaining experience. Okay? When you do stuff, that's when you learn.
Yeah.
But you can't do it until you get some knowledge in you.
Yeah.
Okay? Get the knowledge, do. Now you learn. Now redo it right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That practical application of the knowledge is the wisdom.
That's the wisdom. That's the wisdom. And I told my son that too. I said, son, you coming in the front door of knowledge, but I've been through the back door of wisdom. So it will behoove you to listen. Okay, you might not want to listen, but you might want to listen just to store it in the back of your brain. Because I learned that the older I got, the smarter my dad got.
Yeah. Ooh.
The older I got, the smarter everything he told me, the smarter he got. And I sat down and said, man, you smart dude. And I said, yeah, I showed you that 30 years ago.
While you've been speaking, I've been wanting to like take off my shoe and hit you with one and then hit the college students on the other side of this camera with my other shoe.
Right.
It's because I'm having the same conversations, right? It's like, yeah, you can get this degree, but what are you doing with your time in college right now? Like, this is the most important time of your life.
Yeah.
So it's so transitional.
Yeah.
And so when you're playing football, I chaplain a football team.
Yeah.
They are some of the most amazing young men in the world. However, just like you, they're trying to figure out, well, like, now I'm in college, I have football, and when you get to about senior year, you realize life's about to take place.
Yeah.
So it can't just be football and women.
Right.
It's got to be, what am I going to do next?
Yeah.
And then you graduate and then you're depressed because you haven't done the practical work of understanding who you are outside of that box that is college, because it is a box.
Oh yeah.
It's a false reality.
Yeah.
If you want women, you can just meet them down the hallway. When you get in the real world, you don't meet women like that.
Yeah. College is a trap, man. It's just enough rope to hang yourself.
Oof.
Just enough rope. Yeah, you can play cowboy and everything you want to do, but in the end, you about to jump off a table and you don't know the nooses around your neck. So you gotta be prepared.
Unless you apply wisdom to your college experience.
There you go.
And that is partly talking to guys like you,
Yeah.
men like you who've been through it, made the mistakes, and came out on the other side of it. And so it's like I'm having conversations with young men, even when it comes to their choices with women. And I definitely want to go there with you.
Yeah.
Because I know, you're married now, with an incredible woman, but she wasn't the first.
No. And there again, it goes back to my college days.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how the seeds you plant will come, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because I tell guys all the time, your freshman and your sophomore year, have some fun, man.
Yeah.
Learn the ropes, have some fun. But your junior, your senior year, you better have some interns lined up.
Yeah.
You better start getting to know some professors.
Yeah.
You better start going to some luncheons where the professors and deans are being at. It may not be a lot of young people, but you're not going to be working for your peers. You're going to be working for these people that are out there already.
Yeah.
So after college, and mind you, this is 91. So I don't think
This
nobody
2 years
was thought
before
about
me.
it.
Don't
Yeah, nobody in this room was really thought about it.
That's all right.
So,
Take us there, Doc.
So 91.
Yeah.
First of all, I had a summer job after my junior year, going into my senior year.
Okay.
The summer of 1990. I was working at Crabtree Mall in a men's retail shop.
Okay.
I love fashion, all that good stuff. So I got me a job during the summer, and I had a small internship with WAUG.
Okay.
I had my own little 3-hour radio show
No, you didn't.
And it was awesome, man. I was playing Tony, Chub Rock. I was having fun. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had my internship there. I didn't carry it through, but that's another story. So I'm working at Crabtree Mall. I go get something to eat. I'm in the food court. And lo and behold, I meet Josh's mom.
Wow.
I mean, she was like Tony Braxton back in the day. I mean, just...
Yeah.
I was like in the back of the limelight.
Boom.
I was like Eddie Murphy in Boomerang. so I see her look back and I look away like I'm not, I'm not, what do you call it, sporting her or anything like that. So I'm like, okay. So fast forward, I go see her at her retail shop because she's working in the mall too.
Okay.
And we just visit each other, just friends and everything. So fast forward, I'm in a fraternity. This is like months into winter now. I meet her that summer, but winter is our annual step show. Mm-hmm. So she's at the step show. Now I got a girlfriend at the time.
Okay. All right.
So y'all know where this is going. All right. So fast forward, right? Now at that time, me and my girlfriend had broken up. So in a guy's mind, when you're broke up, it's free fall.
Like it's a break or y'all broken up?
We were broken up.
Okay.
I mean, knockdown argument. I don't want to see you no more.
Okay.
In my mind, we're through.
For sure.
In a female's mind, it's like, I'm going to give him space.
Gonna hold.
And I'll circle back around.
Right.
I'm dumb. I don't know this.
Yeah.
But your girl that I met at the mall, she's at the step show. So later on, the step show, she goes, I go. Mm-hmm. Later on, I go get something to eat at the fast food restaurant. Yeah. Guess who's in the car in front of me? So I say, hey, what are you doing later on? It's 11 o'clock at night already. Later on. You know what's going on later on.
Ain't nothing open out of 12-foot legs.
Anyway, long story short, I really don't want to have nothing to do with her. Mm-hmm. I want to get back with my girl. We get back together, so that's gone. But the seed is already planted.
Okay.
So after I graduate...
Now, what seed are we talking about?
Yeah, tell me about it. The girlfriend and I, we got back together.
Yeah.
So Josh's mom, we just kind of cooled it because I really wasn't into her.
Yeah.
That was just
feel fine, but
that was just a friendship.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we all know
little friends,
right?
a little bit of benefits there. Friendship plus sign. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So
vibes. Yeah.
After college, I graduate. A year after I graduate, me and my girlfriend, we really break up. Okay. I mean, she's got somebody else. Mm-hmm. To this day, she's married, got 2 kids. She's gone. Yeah. Okay. Unbeknownst to me, here comes this song called End of the Road by, what's that, Boys and Men? I can't stand the song to this day.
I can't stand
anyway,
for it.
All right, so she's gone. So this is like 94.
Yep.
This is 3 years after I graduated. Mm-hmm. I'm working these odd jobs, just trying to survive. Fortunately, my best friend, he's got a necktie job. I'm staying with him. Mm-hmm. So basically, I'm single. I'm trying to build my business. It's going up and down. And I finally get fed up and say, you know what? I need to settle down. I really need to, by this time, my best friend, not only does he have a good job, but he's got a steady girlfriend. It looks like they're getting ready to go down the aisle. Mm-hmm. So as his best friend, I'm like, man, I need to make a move because I can't be alone.
Wow. Yeah.
So all of these decisions that, we succumb to are gathered by our immaturity.
Yeah.
Bad seeds are made out of immaturity.
Wow.
And so fast forward, by this time, Josh's mom, who I didn't want to have anything to do with, she goes and gets married, moves to Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
She wants to be a singer. She wants to be in the Beyonce light and just,
You called her Tony Braxton earlier. Moving on.
Yeah. Anyway, she comes back to North Carolina. Unbeknownst to me, she's through with that relationship because, he's not being the man that he needs to be. He's smoking up the rent. So she comes back home to regroup. Mm-hmm. So he follows her back to North Carolina. Christmas season comes. I'm in the mall just trying to shop. The same mall I met her in. Mm-hmm. I run into her at one of the retail shops. With her soon-to-be divorced husband and her 13-month-old, which later becomes my daughter.
Wow.
Who brought me into fatherhood. That's another story.
Wow.
So, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. God bless y'all. Y'all have a good one. Well, 6 months later, I learned that, she's trying to get rid of him and she wants to hang out with me. So fast forward, we start hanging out.
Shiesty.
Yeah, it's just messy, man. Just messy.
Yeah.
Again, immaturity, bad seeds. So my best friend, he's closer to walking down that aisle.
Yeah.
So now me and her hook up. She's divorced now.
Yeah.
So now we hook up, not even fresh off the press. I mean, well, just fresh off the press.
Yeah.
Smoke not even cleared from her divorce. Now we talking about marriage.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look, the guys that you're mentoring at college, they're gonna be making these mistakes, man. And I'm like, so I'm listening to my dad's voice in my ears, like, son, always seek knowledge and wisdom. Instead of calling my dad and say, hey, Dad, I was thinking about doing this, and him telling me, listen, I don't think you should make that move right now.
Yeah.
Go in and get your financial footing and foundation done.
Wow.
And then circle back.
Wow.
With trying to take on that responsibility.
And that's really powerful, because you even saying take on the responsibility of owning your life and getting your financial footing, create a foundation, and then circle back to see if the you who is settled and the you who has built a foundation even wants that woman or wants to make that decision still, because the you then and the you now is very likely two very different people.
And we're not even talking spiritual at this point.
No, we're just talking about, I got a little bit of money and something to lose.
Yeah.
You make different decisions when you got something to lose.
Yeah. Big time.
When you got no money, it's all about the whatever I feel like, whatever I do.
And especially with men, where they know a good woman will take care of you.
Ooh.
And so you don't want to be in a position where your leverage is given up to a woman.
Ooh.
As a man. Now, a woman is going to take care of you.
Yeah.
It's built into them.
Yeah.
But you don't want to do it at the expense of you just surviving.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that, man. And I found myself in that situation. My best friend's getting married. I don't have a spiritual footing right now. I don't have a financial footing. I'm just all over the place. But I'm college educated.
And wanting love. And wanting companionship. And feeling the pressure of, my boy's about to get married. So what happens with the relationship?
All right. So my boy gets married in April.
Okay.
I get married on New Year's Eve of the same year. I'm not even planning. We're not even planning. Whatever. I got married in my dad's house. My dad was a pastor. He saw the bad seeds while I was planning, and instead of him shunning me and condemning me, he's like, look, okay, whatever. This your decision.
Yeah.
In the back of my dad's head, he was like, this is a damn fool. But I'm going to marry him because this is my son.
Yeah, absolutely.
And because it makes him look kind of good too.
Yeah,
my son got married.
Yeah,
and, anyway. So now I'm in a relationship, still working $9 an hour.
Wow.
No benefits, no PTO, just work.
Just work.
I mean, just a job. Wow. You know what a job is?
Yeah.
Job is like, you work 30 hours, that's what's going to be on your check.
Yeah.
Ain't no PTO making up the other 8 hours or something, or 10 hours. And so I'm working a job. And the mother of my child, who I got with, she's working a job.
Wow.
She's not making it in the music business and everything. So we both working a job, both immature. And we already got the daughter here. She's already 13 months old, and now she conceives. Now we got another one on the way, both working a job, both immature. That's a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for the other D word, divorce. Because when you're immature, you don't have no money, your tension builds up to the point where you don't know how to emotionally manage yourself.
Right.
And so therefore, any little thing you say, it's an argument.
Oh, yeah.
Get out my face. I don't even want to see you no more. Well, that's why you broke. Well, that's why you this.
Wow.
So 6 months into our marriage, we became glorified roommates.
Wow.
And that's what millions of marriages are right now.
Wow.
Your next door neighbor, they may be glorified roommates. because they haven't managed their emotions and they haven't matured to the point where I need to serve you, you need to serve me. It's all about self. And so here I am, I'm working a job, I'm immature, don't even have my spiritual footing. Now, I'm a son of a preacher's kid, and I'm still not saved.
Right. Wow.
So, you know, you talking about rolling the dice on my life. So now Josh is born, okay, and that's a story in itself because when he was born in the hospital, the umbilical cord was around his neck, so it was constricting his breathing. So instead of him being born, you know, all nice and rosy looking, he's born looking like this microphone, blue.
Wow.
And he's like inches away from his life. Now, fortunately, I had enough spiritual insight where I could just call on the name of Jesus and just claim that he's going to live and not die.
Wow.
His mother was not like that. She was just worried and just trying to cuss the nurses out. And what are you doing, my kid? And no, they're trying to revive him. And he will live. He will not die. And first of all, I called out I'm going to have a son first. Because we already had the daughter. She was 13 months old. She's my daughter still today. She's 28 years old, living in my house right now.
Wow.
But that's another story. So Josh, he was due on my birthday, March 5th. He was born 3 days earlier. And but his fortitude to live and me speaking life into him, instead of the doctor saying he's going to be in the hospital for a month just to catch up to his body, he came home in 3 days.
See, I have to stop you right there in a moment, because people don't realize when choosing their significant other, moments like that that could happen. You're looking at the body, looking at the face, you're looking at, oh, we have a good time together. But having a woman that won't scream at the nurses, but instead pray in those moments, who can lock faith with you, can turn an atmosphere around.
Yeah.
And so thank God you had the faith for the both of you. But I remember, I forget who it was. It was a mentor that told me, and I can't even tell you who it was, but I remember them saying, yeah, you want to get somebody who, you know, looks good to you, that you want to sleep with every day. You want to get you with somebody that you enjoyed being around, etc.
Yeah.
But you need somebody who, when stuff hits the fan, when life happens, that they don't panic, they pray.
Yeah.
Because if they start panicking, all you got is you.
Yeah.
Whew.
Absolutely.
Anyway, go ahead.
Well, thank God, you know, my dad and my AME background, you know, I had enough church to know how to call on the name of God.
I know how to respond when trouble comes.
I know how to respond. I may not know what I'm talking about. I know how to respond, though. And it works.
It works.
So, so Josh lives, he comes home, and we're starting our good old family together, you know, good old American family of four.
Yeah.
You know, husband, wife, daughter, and son.
Wow.
And but behind that happy Sears photo of a family is just chaos and discourse, and just me not being responsible and taking up the mantle spiritually, you know, financially. All of that good stuff is catching up to me.
Wow.
My dad once told me, he said, if you plant good seeds, the tree will grow up and you can eat of its fruit forever. Wow. If you plant bad seeds, the tree will grow up, but the tree is going to fall on you.
Wow.
So I started seeing the tree lean a little bit. Wow. You know, as I was going through this thing called life, you know, working paycheck to paycheck, you know, just trying to pay rent, just trying to catch up. And she still wants to be in the spotlight. And I'm like, oh, it's too late for that. You just concentrate on being a wife and a mom. That was in one ear and out the other. And to make things worse, here's the cherry on top. Her faith eventually got me going to the Kingdom Hall.
Oh, you became a Jehovah's Witness. I can't.
Can we like cut? Yeah, it got that bad.
Come on, Kingdom Hall.
It got that bad.
You were knocking on doors?
When you let your small head think more than your big head, you will find yourself in a situation where you just being the dog that's wagging the tail, or the tail wagging the dog.
Yeah.
So now I find myself in the Kingdom Hall, and something's just not right in my spirit. You You know, they sound good, but something's just not right.
Yeah.
I told my dad, he would have had he had a connection over the phone.
I know he did.
But he's listen, man. I'm praying for you, bro. I'm
Wow.
praying for you, son, and you really need to go to God in prayer. Because at this point, I can't help you.
Wow.
When you hear those words from your dad, you planting enough bad seeds for a whole village.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And so now I'm out of good graces with my dad, who knows the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But now I've been taken away from the truth,
Wow.
and now I'm trying to follow this world's truth.
Wow.
So fast forward, we call it quits. He's like, hey, let's just give up the ghost of this marriage.
Yeah.
And let's preserve whatever happiness we both have. Okay.
And you're still 2 kids in.
Still 2 kids in.
Okay.
Well, at this point, I'm sorry. We had enough reconciliation to where we say, hey, let's come to. She wanted to give me a daughter because I said I want a son and a daughter. Now, I had a beautiful daughter already, instant made. So I loved it. But there's something about your biological kids. So she had a daughter. And we had a daughter. And so now we're a family of 5. By this time, we're just,
y'all just living together, having sex.
The last thread is about to pop.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah, the last thread is about to pop. So we she leaves the house. Now I got all 3 kids. Listen to what I'm saying. I got all 3 kids, including her daughter. That's not my daughter biological.
Wait, hold on. Pause.
Yeah, I knew it was coming.
She leaves the house, and you don't hear that a lot. You don't hear the woman leaves the house, and now it's.
I got all 3 kids. I'm talking about waking them up, getting them ready for school or daycare, picking them up from school and daycare, helping them with their homework, trying to do their hair, especially the girls. They look like buckwheat because that was not pretty at all. Josh, I just get a brush and just, all right, go play. But these girls, man, I'm trying to how in the hell you plait these? Anyway.
Yeah.
So, feeding them, going to the grocery store, getting groceries, coming home, So 45 days later, she comes home. She wants to reconciliate. So we're trying to save this whatever marriage we got, okay? Unbeknownst to me, she was kicked out of her mom's house. She just wanted somewhere to stay. I didn't know this, though. But she plays this whole soap opera deal.
Yeah.
Like, I need to come home. We need to be a family. And, of course, I'm gullible. It's like, come on home. Let's try to work this thing out. 30 days later, another big blowout. This time she leaves for good. And this time she takes her daughter. Okay? She takes her daughter with her. So now she's 5 years old at this time. So now I'm stuck with our biological kids, Sonia and Josh. And I wish I could have had the third one because I know she was not going to go into a good situation.
Okay.
Because at that time, the mother just didn't want to be a mom. And that's cool if you don't want to be a mom.
Yeah.
But guess what? It's too late.
Yeah.
The kids are still, kids
here.
are here now. So either you got to woman up and be a mom or man up and be a dad. It's not about you anymore. And so now I have these 2 kids. She's got her daughter. She's living her life. I'm living my life. Now I'm getting ready to see what manhood is all about because I was stuck with a crossroads situation here. Do I just be the average male and just let the kids go with the mom so I can just get my life on and do all this stuff I want to do? Or do I man up and take care of your seed and make sure that they are trained up the way that they should go? Now, it's a very important decision I had to make because, mind you, I'm still not financially set. But if I let the kids go with the mom, I can get management job. I can make my 6-figure income. I can do all the things that I need to do. And I'll be in their kids' lives, every other weekend. But my dad's voice was in my spirit, man. He said, take care of your kids, man. And, I come from a long line of Harvins, man, that took care of their kids.
Wow.
I am the son of Hamlin. Hamlin Muzon is my great, great, great grandfather, born into slavery. And he got his freedom when he was like 9 years old. the history that I know of is that his son, he had two sons. One of the sons we don't know about, but the son that started our lineage, he got married. They had 14 kids. 9 survived into adulthood. Out of those 14 kids, the first kid that they have, his name was Isaac. I come from the Isaac lineage.
Wow.
He gives birth to Robert Harvin, which becomes my dad, and now me, and then Josh. So my great-great-great-granddad's name is Hamlin, and his last name was Muzon. Later changed it to Harvin. So I tell people all the time, my initials of my name is Stacey Orion Harvin, but now I call it the son of Hamlin.
Wow.
And so when I had Josh, now I love my daughters, but we all know biblically when you have a son, that carries your name.
Yeah.
So so Josh is born, and I named him Joshua Caleb Harvin because Caleb was Joshua's right-hand man. And I knew something great was going to come from Josh. I didn't know what, but when you have a son, when you're a Harvin, and you got a son, that's big. And so knowing my lineage and knowing that God had blessed me with a son, I thought I was going to have more sons. But I look back and I was just blessed with one son. So in essence, God was saying, listen, I'm going to give you one shot to get this right, to carry your name on. I'm going to give you one shot. I got 4 daughters and I got one son, and that's Josh. Wow. So I'm a single dad of 2 kids now. Okay? Now I'm working this odd job. I can barely pay the babysitters. I can barely pay the daycare. But I had a decision to make. Do I stay and train these childs up in the way that they should go, or just be the average guy and let them go with their mom and I'll see them every other weekend? Yeah. And something in my lineage says, take care of your kids. But my flesh was saying, if you do that, you're going to miss out on catching up financially. Because you just can't take off work and go get your kids. You can't just be in management program and, oh, I got to leave because I got my kids. You don't have that luxury. So you're going to sacrifice something. I wasn't going to sacrifice my kids. The African-American plight in this nation, especially after the civil rights movement, they systematically put together policies to break up families. And remember, I come from a good family. I come from good stock. Yeah. Both college educated, both in the church. I was set up to succeed.
Right.
I'm just gonna be the weak link in my family now and not take care of my kids. So I tell my son all the time, I tell my kids all the time, you know, being a single dad was half pride and half love.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't gonna be the weak Harvin in this lineage.
Wow.
I wasn't going to do it, man. I was not going to do it. I wasn't going to let my dad down. I wasn't going to let my granddad down. I wasn't going to let my great-great-granddad down. I wasn't going to let Hamlin Musa, who was a slave, I was not going to let him down. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take care of my kids. The last thing I told my kid's mother, I said, you can leave, but you're not taking these kids. So that started a journey of being fatherhood. Now, unfortunately, in this society, being an African-American single father, that's a gold badge. Not only with one kid, but I got 2 kids that I'm taking care of as a black man. Do you know how many phone numbers you can get from church when you come in there as a single dad? With 2 kids? Not 1 kid. So that started a whole journey of me being a single dad. I wasn't going to let them down. And so fortunately, I surrendered to God. And I said, God, you know, you're going to have to help me. And sometimes it's not until you're broken down to your very last compound that God is going to lift you up, man. And, you know, that's a plug for KRS-One, broken down to your very last compound. See how it sounds a little irrational. A lot of MCs use the words radical. Anyway, KRS-One, that's my favorite rapper. Anyway. I saw him yesterday.
You're aging yourself, Doc. But go ahead.
Yeah, I saw him yesterday at the Ben Bay Festival. But here I am, single dad, and I wasn't going to let my lineage down. I wasn't going to let these kids down because kids are not asking to be here. We brought them here. So now they're succumb to whatever environment that you set for them. And I was not going to let my kids be raised by somebody who didn't want to be a parent. You talking about raised by a pack of wild wolves. That's what would have happened.
Right.
Instead of a 2-parent household, college educated, look, show some respect for what you've been doing. And you're going to just drop the ball on these kids?
Wow.
After what your parents have sacrificed for? I differ not. Wow. So that started me on a journey, and I knew I was going to sacrifice on the financial side a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, I don't make no excuses for that because there's been single moms who's done fabulous, gotten doctorate degrees, taking care of 3 kids, 1 kid in the NFL, just all kinds of amazing things. Men ain't built like that. So let's get that out the way.
Listen.
So
yeah.
So here I am. I got these 2 kids. I'm doing everything that a single mom does. That's why I have so much respect for single moms, man. It's just ridiculous. So here I am. The year 2000, that's the year that I became a single dad. Yeah. Because that's the year that his mom and I said, look, we're done. And it happened on 4th of July, Independence Day. Wow. So if you ever want to be independent, do it on Independence Day. Anyway, I'll never forget that date as long as I live. So I'm on this journey. This is years now. Yeah. 2009. Now, mind you, I've been a single dad since 2000. Wow. We legally get divorced in 2003. Okay. And so now I'm
2000, 2003, y'all apart.
We
just
just
divorced.
Apart. Just, you know.
You didn't want to go through the paperwork.
You do you, I do me.
Yeah.
You know. So now my spirit is hungry for family. Mm-hmm. A wife, a mother to my kids. I'm hungry. Had a couple of girlfriends in between that time, but my spirit knew this is not it. You know, You may be good for me, but you're not good for my kids. Or you may be good for my kids, but you're not good for me. So, you know, whenever you have a combination, like a 3-number combination, if that last number is not good, you're not opening up that lock. Wow. You know, if the soda machine says it takes $1 to get this soda, you put 99 cents in, you're not getting that soda.
No.
And so that's how God works. God says, listen, you trust me 100%, I got you. Yeah. I don't do 99%. Wow. So here I am. I'm getting spiritually mature. I'm saved now. Now I'm seeking God. Okay? Things are getting brighter. There's still a few clouds, but things are getting brighter. But one of the things I learned in this life is spiritual maturity doesn't mean surrender. Wow. You can be spiritually mature all you want, but until you surrender your agenda and you see God's will for your life, you're going to miss the mark. And you're going to be spiritually frustrated. Yeah. And you're going to always want to have a conversation with God. God, why are you? And God said, I said, surrender, and I got you.
This is really powerful. So take me to, you're working the job. Yeah. You're working the job. You have 2 of these kids by yourself. Yeah. How are you sustaining? What is life like? How are you providing? Take me there. How are you doing it? And what does that look like?
You ever heard of ramen noodles?
I haven't heard of ramen noodles.
Ramen noodles. Ramen noodles.
Yes. Yes. Ramen for sure.
Yeah. Well, I did sign up for social services. I did have food stamps. I did have WIC. I had all of that stuff. All of the things that single moms got. I had all of that stuff. Yeah. I had a babysitter that allowed me to stay with her. That's how bad I got. Wow. I couldn't even maintain my own apartment because things got so bad that I would go pick up my kids from daycare and the lights weren't on. And I'm lighting a candle with my 3 and 4 year old. You know, kids, they 3 and 4 years old. They don't know no better.
Right.
So we having a candle party.
Wow.
And we go to McDonald's to have something to eat. But while they going to sleep, I'm crying, man. I'm like, God, you got to help me, man. I'm like, and I didn't want to go home to my dad because in my mind, I started this. I'm going to finish it. Now, I could have easily gone home, you know, stayed under my dad and my stepmom's household, regroup, kind of, get my footing. But something just told me, man, you got to stick this out, man. Stick it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, so take me there. Take me
Yeah.
to, you are this young father just making ends meet. Lights are off. Where do you pull strength from? Where do you pull fight from? How do you get through day to day? What is your mindset like?
Yeah, at that point, man, it's between the flesh saying give up and your spirit saying keep going. And thank God I had enough spiritual maturity to say, hey, everything you need is in God. You need to call on him. And so fortunately, as I called on him, favor started happening. I would get this call for a job.
Wow.
Or somebody will offer their services to babysit my kids when I had to work part-time.
Wow.
I'm waiting tables part-time now. So, now I have somebody that can watch my kids so I can make the extra money.
Wow.
Okay. Don't quite have the money to invest in the business yet, but I can move forward. I can take my kids out sometime. I can take them to the movies and to the park now because I got money for gas now to go extra places. So when you get into those desperate situations, the only thing you can do is call on God. And, we already know how to survive. You go work your hours, you get your paycheck, you pay your bills, and hopefully you can eat. But God is way bigger than that, man. God is way bigger than that because your happiness is not in surviving.
Ooh.
Your happiness is going beyond. Your happiness is being in abundance. You're in such a better mood when you got a loaf of bread in the cabinet versus these last 2 pieces of bread and you need to go to the store.
They end pieces too.
Yeah. End pieces. You got to have the end pieces, man. But I learned that when you're in abundance, it's not about greed. It's about you're in a position to bless somebody else. And so once I got to the point where I knew God was my only source, it was game on then. Because now I know how to pull on the power of God. And I'm not lazy, so I know how to work. Okay? And so now I got a little bit knowledge under my belt. I'm getting into some jobs just getting me a little bit better pay. And it's all because of God's favor. Because still, somebody got to watch my kids while I put in these extra hours. That's where God gives you that favor. When God sees that your heart's right, he moves suddenly. It don't take God to move. It only seems that God is taking this time. That's because our heart's not right. I don't care how spiritually mature you are. If your heart's not right and you're not ready to surrender, it's just going to delay your destination. So that's when I really started to really call on God and really start to lean on him because in him is everything. And so I started getting better jobs. I started getting into better positions. I'm still catching the bus though. I'm still on the bus with my kids, going everywhere I need to go. I don't even have a car. But this is how good God is. When you seek after him, he will favor you so much. And one of the business meetings I went to, because I was still trying to do my side hustle, I went to a business meeting. A couple that I was in business with, they already had kids, already established. He's an engineer and everything. He gives me a car. He said, yo, man, I understand you didn't have a car. Me and my wife, we just want to bless you with this car. We got a new minivan, so we don't need this one. I'm telling you, man, I can't explain half the favor stuff that went on as a single dad. When I look back over my life, I don't know how I made it as a single dad. I just know that God was everything to me, and in him is everything that you need. And so he will favor you all the way to your journey, man. Wow. He will favor you every step of the way, but you got to stay obedient, man. You got to keep seeking him. Not seeking him just to seek him. Seek him for the wisdom that he's going to give you, because at the end of the day, you still have your permissive will. Okay? He knows the plans for you, but he still wants you to practice your will, because God cannot steer a parked car. You have to be moving for him to steer you. Okay? So here it is. Here's the kicker right here. Unbeknownst to me, now here's the devil here. This is the total devourer. Now I'm taking care of these kids up to from 2000 to 2007 or 8. In 2008, the court system in Johnston County takes my kids away. So I don't even know how that happened to this day. Go ahead.
Take me there.
Yeah. So I was going to send my kids, Josh and Sonia. Of course, I didn't have India. She's with her mom. So Josh and Sonia, my dad stays in Virginia. I'm here in North Carolina. So my dad wants to have the kids for the summertime.
Yeah.
While I get myself on my feet. Well, the mom caught wind of that and thought that I was moving to Virginia, taking her kids away from her. That was the narrative. So she files a custody issue, which we didn't have no custody issue. We was just, you do you, I do me. So she filed a custody thing before I did. So the custody went to her. Caught me with my pants down, okay? So fast forward, now the kids are staying with their mom, who they don't want to be with.
Yeah.
And actually, they were staying with their papa, because mom was staying with her dad.
Wow.
Okay. So that's 25, 30 minutes away from me now.
Wow.
I go from a 7 days a week dad to a every other weekend dad. Me and the kids don't know what's going on. Wow. I was this close to depression. Because unfortunately, I let my kids become my character. Wow. I let them become my substance. Wow. Okay? Now my substance is taken away. So who the hell am I now? You can't blame college educated no more. That's out the window. The only thing I had left to my name was a couple of dollars and my kids. And my kids were everything. So now they're taken away. And to this day, I don't even know why they took the kids, because I had records, shots, I had receipts. I even had on my best Johnny Cochran suit, representing myself in court. I didn't show up with my pads sagging. I didn't show up with, hair all messed up in my pajamas or whatever, coming to court. I was to the T. I was dressed down to the T, ready for the judge to hit the gavel and say, Mr. Harvin, you can retain custody. The mom can see everything. It's like, nope, I hereby announce the kids going with their mom, effective immediately. And I leave the court and I'm like bawling in the car. Like, what just happened? God, I'm seeking you. What just happened? God says, yeah, about that. You were using your kids as pawns. Wow. And I don't play that. You remember going to church, expecting women to come up to me because they see 2 kids? God says no.
And it was also interesting that you said is that they also became your identity. It wasn't intentional, wasn't malicious, but you used them to find a sense of purpose.
Absolutely, man. When you don't identify your image, that you're made in the image and likeness of God, you take on a likeness and image of anything that makes you happy.
Wow.
Anything that makes you happy, you think that's spiritual. No. Your identity and your likeness and image comes from God by you seeking him. That way you won't get conformed by the world. Okay? My image and identity is in God now. So it doesn't matter who I'm married to. It doesn't matter what kind of job I have. It doesn't matter what church I go to. At the end of the day, it's me and God. Right. That's the relationship. So at that point, I was using my kids as pawns, Because unbeknownst to me, because I didn't know I had fallen into this thing where I can now leverage my kids now to get what I want. And God says,
You
you know
using them
what?
kids to get some booty.
Look. I thought this is supposed to be
You using the kids to get some booty? Come on,
anyway.
Stacey.
I thank my kids everything. Never mind. Anyway, so now my kids are gone.
Yeah.
So now I'm stripped down again.
Yeah.
Spiritual maturity don't mean a thing if you're not using that wisdom for God's glory.
Right.
If you're using it for your glory, that's just going to be a short-lived glory.
Yeah.
So now my kids are gone. This is like 2008 now.
Yeah.
All right, so now I've learned to seek God in turbo mode now.
Yeah.
Because now my kids are gone. Now, physically, I really don't have no excuse now. Because you can seek God now when there's nobody in the house. You have no distractions now.
Right.
You know, you can't blame God that, I had to, read to my kids at night. That's why I couldn't read my Bible.
Yeah.
No, So now I'm in turbo mode of seeking God for who I am.
Wow.
Not for what I got.
Wow.
Not for what he has blessed me with. Because blessings can mess you up. Blessings can get you in a state of cockiness like you've never known before in your life.
Wow.
So the focus is always on the blessing giver, not the blessings.
Wow.
So now that my two blessings are gone, who I made my identity, I have to reestablish my identity and my likeness in him. Wow. So now I'm in turbo mode of seeking him. Now here's the most powerful thing about spiritual maturity and surrendering. I'm still working these jobs.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm making more money, but I'm still working jobs.
Yeah, it's not 9, maybe 12.
Right. Yeah. So I can still go to Applebee's now. So I'm still working, but I don't have my kids. So now I'm in a crossroads. So now I get into a job to where I can really start making some money.
Wow. Okay.
I'm talking about sales and commission.
Nice. Yeah.
So now I get this job. This job takes me down to Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And this is where I'm thirsty now for a family now.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been a single dad. The court system strips me of my kids now. Now I'm on my own. I'm seeing them every other weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to keep it together because, I'm this close to depression because my identity was in my kids. Now I'm reestablishing my identity in God the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
Okay. So now I get this job and it takes me on a business trip down to Atlanta. So down in Atlanta, by this time I'm asking God, I really want to get back into this family thing. Help me find the right woman. Help me find that wife and a good thing, I meet this woman down in Atlanta.
Bad.
And
come back.
Yeah.
Come back.
She was in the church.
Yeah.
Her parents were ordained ministers. And physically, everything you want. Mm-hmm. Everything you want. I mean,
you don't gotta go to details.
Look, she used to be a dancer. So
we're
not going to go there. So that's how bad she was, right? So now we get in a relationship, long distance, North Carolina, Georgia.
Yeah.
She comes see me, I go see her.
Yeah.
We kept it holy. I can honestly say we kept it holy. We didn't go there.
Be mad if you did it.
Because I'm seeking for substance now.
Yeah.
I'm not seeking for temporary pleasure. I really want substance. I really want God to bless me. Yeah. Okay. I want to get back into good graces with my dad, That's superficial as well, but I just wanted to get back into this wholesome family thing. I messed it up before, and I recognized I was immature, I was irresponsible, I wasn't the man I was supposed to be to take on the responsibility of not only a wife, we ain't talking about kids.
Yeah.
Responsibility of taking on a wife, then kids, and then your career and all that good stuff. Yeah. I wasn't ready for none of that. So I messed that up.
Right.
I told my kids' mom, hey, I apologize. God bless you for having my kids. Let's be friends from here on out. So that's settled. But now I meet this woman in Georgia. Next level. Okay, I'm ready. I'm confident. I still got a job, but it's not to the point where it's messing up my confidence that I know how to take care of you. I know how to be a husband because I'm in the word and says to serve like Christ died for the church. I'm willing to do that now.
Yeah.
I wasn't willing to do that before.
And you know how to do a lot with a little. Listen.
Hey, you see this right here? You see this right here?
Yeah.
So long distance relationship, but something is off.
Yeah.
Something is off. When that woman meets my kids, there's no spark.
Wow.
Man, I'm just at the finish line.
Right.
About to get married again to the right woman.
Yeah.
But she's not feeling kids. So she grew up as an only child. I grew up with siblings. So my perspective of family is a little bit different from hers.
Yeah.
She's used to getting what she wants. She's used to controlling the narrative. I'm used to sharing and taking another perspective and everything like that. So although she's good for me, I come with a package.
Wow.
She don't have any kids. That's a rarity too.
You don't hear this story often.
Man, I said, God, you did it this time. You found me the one. Well, God was like, So here it is, long distance relationship. She's not feeling my kids. Now, intellectually, not spiritually, intellectually, I'm telling myself, God is going to bless this marriage. I know it's rocky and kind of rough right now. She's not feeling my kids. She wasn't mean to them.
Did you marry her? Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, this is okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
You're saying
this is the prelude.
God is going to bless this marriage if it happened, right?
So,
gotcha.
So she's not feeling kids, but in my mind, I've been searching for this woman for years now. Because I've been divorced since 2003, separated since 2000. It's 2009 now.
Right.
It's time to get back on the horse.
Right.
Okay. So, and my kids are getting a little bit older, so some of the scales are falling off their eyes because now they see who their mom is, their biological mom is, and what she's about. Now they see dad for what he's doing and what he's trying to sacrifice. So now I find this woman, and the relationship's going great for me, but for me and my kids, which is the real goal, it's not happening. It's falling short. So in my mind, I'm thinking, God is going to bless this some way, somehow. This is going to be a great testimony.
Yeah.
God said, I don't work that way. I need you to trust me, man. You finding that woman is something that you did. You didn't consult me.
Wow.
So I had to face that reality that I spent years trying to find this one woman. I'm almost at the finish line. And God says, no. And I'm like, come on, God, you got to be kidding me. This is the one. Right. God says, I don't do 99%, bro.
Wow.
And I was like, so how's this thing going to come together, God? You let me go all the way to Georgia to find this one woman. I mean, I know there's millions of women right here in North Carolina.
But this is the one I want.
But this the one. God's like, okay.
Nah, man, nah.
So here's the kicker.
Right.
My kids are gone. I still don't have them in custody. I still got this job, but now I'm looking for a ring for this woman who I think is the one. In between that, I get fired from the job that was getting me over the hump financially. I mean, I was going to be able to take you out to dinner. I'm talking Capitol Grill. This is not Applebee's. This is not, the number one combo at Wendy's and get extra cheese. No, I can take you to Capitol Grill, bro. I was making that money. So now I get fired. That was a blessing.
Wow.
Because 6 months later, the CEO and the COO of that company both got indicted.
Wow.
And I'm not talking about slap on the wrist. I'm talking about an episode of CNBC, American Greed, indicted.
Wow. Oh, wow.
So God saved me from that. That's a blessing in disguise. So now I need a job. I'm looking for a ring for this woman, and I'm looking for a job. Fortunately, God's favor, I ran into this dude who I used to work with at a job. We both know the same manager. The manager is still at the old job. So I called the manager from the job and said, listen, I need a job. He said, yeah, we got a training class coming up next Monday. This was like a Tuesday. So the next Monday is a training class. I was like, thank you, Jesus. So now I'm starting this training class on Monday.
Yeah.
In that training class was my now wife.
Wow.
I'm looking for a ring for a woman in Georgia. And my now wife is in the new training class.
Wow.
Sounds scandalous, don't it? Yeah. Let me
For
pack
some
that.
reason, scandal starts to follow
let
you.
me unpack that a little bit. Let me
You're a
let
little
me take a
shiesty,
swig.
Stacey.
So I'm trying to hang on to what intellectually I think is good.
Yeah.
Spiritual maturity doesn't mean surrender.
Yeah.
You can be spiritually mature, but until you surrender.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I was at a crossroads. I knew enough now in my spiritual maturity to seek wisdom on this now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on the phone with like at least 5 women, of course, separate phone calls, women with kids.
Yeah.
A couple of them had a blended family situation. So I'm on the phone with all 5 of these women and say, listen, am I looking at this situation right? You know, she's not really feeling kids and the kids are not really feeling her, but she's in the church and she's spiritual and we can pray together and all this kind of stuff. All 5 of those women said, you need to leave her like yesterday.
Wow.
My intellect said, no, I don't want to hear this because I spent 9 years trying to find her. Why are you telling me to drop the ball when I'm looking for a ring for this woman? All 5 of the women. The word says to seek counsel when you're about to go into war.
Ooh.
And you think marriage is not warfare? That's the ultimate covenant that the enemy don't want you to have.
My God.
So here it is. I'm like, okay, God's going to bless this somehow.
Right.
He's going to bless it somehow. All things are possible with God. So now I'm at a crossroads. Do I let this relationship go and trust God? Or do I marry this woman and I turn into a referee between my kids and my now wife? And God says, you got a decision to make. Wow. What are you going to do? Fortunately, I had enough spiritual maturity to seek counsel, but now I need the faith and obedience to trust that counsel.
Wow.
Because you counsel guys all the time. But do they have the faith to take your counsel? And if they don't have the faith to take your counsel, it's going to make you look bad because didn't you just counsel that guy? Why is he making these decisions? And you'd be like, I told him to do this. I didn't tell him to do that. So now I'm in the training class with my new job. Unbeknownst to me, my now wife is going through the same exact situation. She's with a dude that promised a ring 3 years earlier, 3 years later, no ring. And every time they talk about marriage, it's an argument. So she's ready to fly the coop with this dude.
So y'all both in a relationship?
Both in a relationship.
Nice, dude.
So now, this is how good God works. When your heart's right and when you surrender, God works fast.
Wow.
I tried to delay my own blessing. That's why it took me 9 years to find my now wife. Okay. So here it is. I had an Abrahamic moment.
Okay. Break that down.
I had an Abrahamic moment. Abraham was given the directive to take his son and sacrifice his son. God says, listen, I want to know your heart.
Yeah.
I want to know if you really going to trust me. Now, if you know the story, it took Abraham years to get Isaac,
Right.
the covenant son.
Right.
We're not talking about Ishmael.
Yeah. Right.
The covenant son.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you want me to sacrifice my covenant son?
Right.
Come on, God. So now I had an Abrahamic moment with this relationship. Do you sacrifice the relationship and trust God, or do you stay and watch it unravel over time? So I took enough counsel to where I listened to those women and they said, you need to leave her. So fortunately, we both, the girl in Georgia and I, were both spiritually mature to say, hey, you know what? You do you, I do me. This is not a right fit. I'm not the last number to your combination. You're not the last number to my combination. So let's not try to force this suitcase open.
Yeah.
Let's just go our way and let God bless us. 2 weeks after that, I got in a conversation with my now wife in the training class. We were paired up on some class activity to where find somebody and get 5 things you like about this person or whatever. Fast forward, 6 months from the day I met my now wife, 6 months from the day I met her in the training class, I proposed to her on Christmas Day. 2 months later, 2 months later, we got married at the magistrate's office, and that's been 12 and a half years ago. And now we're marriage mentors for our church. When you trust God, when you get your heart right, and when you surrender, God works fast. Just like the ram was in the thicket for Abraham, my wife was in that training class when I totally surrendered.
She was your ram.
See, intellect said, I'm going to have to waste another 4 or 5 years to find the perfect one. That's what your intellect says.
Wow.
But when your spiritual heart maturity and seeking surrender, when that takes place, God says, I work suddenly.
Wow.
And there's a lot of places in the Bible where God says, I work suddenly and suddenly and suddenly and suddenly. When you surrender, you can expect suddenly. And that's where, my wife, Justina, she has been my rock and my rib. And, she got a similar story. We can sit back and we can say, wow, we met just when we was at the brink of an Abrahamic moment. And I love it, man. I love it. Ooh. Now, here's the blessing from that. When I surrendered, not only did I get a wife, but the mother of my kids surrendered the kids back to me in custody. I didn't have to go to court. Most custody court cases, that's 5 G's right out the pocket.
Yeah.
That's 5 G's right off the back. And that's if you barely making it financially. Most lawyers going to hit you in the head for that because they know it's money in that. Because you love your kids. They going to leverage that love
absolutely
at the bank account.
Absolutely.
The mother called me. This is so powerful, man. I went to go take groceries to my kids at his mother's house. Okay? When I left, I was sad because I got to leave my kids because now I'm an every other weekend dad. But now I got my new boo, the one I met in training class. Yeah. So she's with me down for law, okay? I go around the corner from the apartment where my son was staying at and his sister. I come to this railroad track and we waiting for this train to go. And I'm just sad and my phone rings and it's my kid's mother. And I'm like, what that reaction is like. What do you want?
Yeah.
So I answer the call.
A couple extra words.
Now, this is June, so they're about to get out for summer, okay? And I pick up the phone. I said, yeah. I thought she was going to tell you, well, you forgot something, or, Josh needs that, or Sonia needs that, or whatever. When you going to pick them up again? Well, I talked to the kids, and, they're going to be out for the summer, and I just thought, maybe it's time for them to live with you again because... they really want to stay with their dad and everything. Really what it was is that when the kids get older and the scales fall off, they start to see you for who you are, Mom. Mom, you're selfish. It's all about you, Mom, or Dad. Dad, you're selfish. I don't want to be here no more. But she called and let me know, listen, they're going to be out for the summer next week. I can just let them stay with you, you and Justina. Man, I burst into so many happy tears. And Justina and we watching the train go by. And every car of that train was a picture of my life up to that point.
Wow.
And I was just watching my life, man. Every train car. And I was just seeing God's grace over every car, man. Wow. I got my kids back. I got a wife now. I don't have no job no more. I'm doing good now. Wow. And so all of you ever watch Lion King, the animated version?
Yeah.
You remember when Scar took over and the place just became desolate, just bones everywhere, but the son came back, Simba?
Yeah.
It was awesome, man. And to this day, man, I'll never forget that day ever in my life. And now, we got a home, we got 2 cars paid for. We just, we're on this path to where we're unstoppable. Wow. And it's all because I'm spiritually mature, but most importantly, I surrendered. And when you seek God, man, you can do anything. And that's what carried me through that single parenthood mode. And I speak to every single parent out there. Listen, If you're at the brink of just surviving, seek God and seek counsel, because it's going to get you in some places where God wants you to be in the first place. And so, man, I can't not serve. I can't not give God the glory. I can't not live for him, because he took me from a somewhat prodigal son beginning, and now he's got me to the point where, I'm an elder now, and I'm a marriage mentor. And I host this weekly men's call called Iron Talk, where I bring men together and we have conversations. It's not a crisis center, it's not a Bible study, but just men being to release what's on their heart. And when you share your revelation, I share my revelation, we're sharpening each other. And we both walk away sharp.
I'm just thinking in my head the heartbreak of working as hard as you work to take care of your kids, then to randomly lose your children, and the fear that could likely be in a father that what are my kids thinking about me? I can't be there for them because now they're no longer with me. I can't be there for them like I want to be there. I can't. And I'm thinking about the conversation I had with Josh right here on the Speakeasy, where he said the most important thing that he learned from you, the biggest lesson that he learned from you was to be there, because no matter what,
I had to, man.
No matter what you had, no matter what money was in the bank, no matter what he experienced, you found a way.
I found a way, man. When they were taken away from me, I didn't have a car. I had to go get them. Mind you, they were 35 miles away. They weren't like right around the corner. I had to go to the next county to get them. And I had no car. I had a bus pass, but I would have friends. Hey, can I borrow your car to go get my kids? At that point, when you're a single parent, man, you can't afford to miss work and everything. And I had a couple of speeding tickets, and therefore it caught up with me. And I had a couple of failure to appears, and that's nothing to play with. Failure to appears.
Oh, I learned when I moved here.
Yeah, and so
For sure.
my license was suspended.
Yeah.
I still borrowed cars to go get my kids. My license suspended. I'm risking friends' insurances to go get my kids. I'm risking the police stopping me, knowing that I got failure to appears and my name is on their computer to take me in to go see my kids. I would do it again. Just like God hid Moses when the Pharaoh was killing kids. God will find a way to protect you if your heart's right.
Wow.
And because I had failure to appears, that wasn't my kids' fault. All my kids wanted is my presence and my love. And I couldn't let my son and my daughter down. If I said I was going to be there, I'm coming. And so I borrowed my manager's car. Not only can I risk getting fired and messing up her insurance, I did whatever I had to do to go find my kids, man. And the weekends that I would have them, I'll go rent a hotel room. We have hotel room night. You would have thought we was in Disney World, because it was that weekend that we could play the Wii station in a hotel room, going to McDonald's, going to the movies, and just having good old time. And one of the worst parts of my whole week, man, was that Sunday night when I had to bring them back. I don't wish that on any parent, to feel that when your kids are crying and you're crying because they got to go back because they're used to living with you. Now they can't. It's like they were thrown in jail too. And so I could not, especially my son. Daughters are awesome, man, but especially my namesake. I kept trying to tell myself, your son is going to remember this one day. And I'm just glad I
I'm just glad I planted good seeds. Now they're coming up. Now I'm going to be a granddad.
Whew.
The seed of my righteousness, man. Josh is just going to be the seed giver, but that grandchild is going to be the seed of my righteousness. And I'm the son of Hamlet.
Wow.
I wasn't going to let him down because I got one shot. His name is Josh. I wasn't going to let him down. So if I can tell anybody, man, seek God, plant good seeds, and surrender. Because God's got you, man. God's got you.
I want to just first say thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for your obedience. Thank you for your willingness to keep fighting,
Yeah.
to not give up, and to now stand here as an example of a father who stayed in it, no matter the circumstance, no matter the trial, and to be an example of God's goodness.
Yeah.
That he carried you and brought you to the other side of it.
Yeah.
And now the world gets an opportunity to experience the seeds that you've planted even in Josh.
Amen.
Because he's a blessing to so many. He's a mentor to so many.
Yeah.
And he's pouring into so many.
Yeah.
And that's because of your obedience.
Yeah.
He's there in the lives of his mentees and it will be in the life of his child because you made that decision.
Amen.
And I'm grateful as a son, as someone who is learning, and as a father.
Yeah. Yeah.
To learn from you, to hear from you, and for all those watching, man, like, I mean, one, thank you for sitting in, thank you for joining the Speakeasy, but
Yeah.
man, I pray that you got something out of this, that you got a little bit more faith, a little bit more perseverance.
Yeah.
And I hope it helped you debunk the false narrative and the lie that Black fathers aren't there.
Yeah. Absolutely. I want to thank you too, because you're the one that was part of the village. You know, the old African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. You know, right around Josh's teenage years, obviously he was like most teenagers, in one ear and out the other. Didn't want to have nothing to do with God and, you know, church and everything. Thank God. You know, it takes the village to raise them, but you got to keep your kids in the village.
And you did.
And you got to keep them in the right village. Because there's another village out there waiting for him.
Oh, man.
And so by keeping him in the village, coupled with you taking responsibility of your ministry, you took responsibility of your ministry. You kept reaching out when I couldn't reach him as the dad. And so it takes a village, man. And I told you this at my 50th birthday party. Thank you for saving my lineage. Thank you, brother. You took responsibility of your ministry, and it set my son back on course with God. He's saved, and he's going to have a child, and that child is going to benefit by you taking responsibility of your ministry. God bless you, man. God bless you.
Thank you. It was my honor, and man, I'm just grateful for your example. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for where life is taking us, man, where God is taking us.
Absolutely. God bless you.
Man, wow. All right, let me get myself together. Listen.
Oh, my gosh. I would have lost that bet. I would have lost all $50 of that bet that I wasn't going to cry.
Man, I want to thank you guys for sitting with us here at the Speakeasy. Like, subscribe, comment, all the things. We love you and we thank you.
Amen.
See you next week.
See you.